Okay, folks, we'll bring the Personnel Committee meeting to order. We've got 7 items on the agenda. Anyone have a matter to come before the board or a discussion item for the committee? No. Before I move on, we had talked at our last meeting, we asked Doug about whether we should save some of these contracts for the county executive or the county executive to sign, or if we should approve them for the board chairman to sign. I don't have a problem with it, regardless of who signs them. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. If you want the board of supervisors, the chairman of the board to sign them,
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Either way.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
So Rich, you want me to go one by one, and then if they need backup information, you're going to have it on each one of these?
Yeah.
Okay. Resolution
Well, I guess before we say, I guess the only, and the reason I'm in favor is because I think they all have out clauses of one or the other, either 90 days. I mean, the one that's not here is like Matrix, that's the longest, that's 6 months. But that's not one of the ones for discussion.
That's not here.
We
You know,
actually checked with all the companies. They were all good if we held it off till January or February, except for our stop loss.
Yeah, my only concern is this, they're gonna have their hands full on January 1, 7th, whenever. They've got no rules and procedures, they've got no committees, they've got most to deal with. The thing is, I would just as well pass these, because none of them have attended a meeting, so they don't know what these are. And so I would just as well pass them. If they wanna change them once they're in office, then they can give their notice and they can follow through. I think it's a benefit if we just pass them,
Get it over with.
and so we're not forcing them to do it. They can do it at their leisure, so.
It was a matter of courtesy when I brought it up. I just thought, the county executive is the person that's gonna have to
Well,
enforce it.
yeah, but the board, the legislature's the one who's gonna sign it. He's gotta authorize him to, so they would have to pass it to authorize him to sign it. So what's the difference? We might as well go ahead and do
We
it.
sit here to the end of the year, we're being paid to make decisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
First item, resolution authorizing chairman of the board to sign renewal agreement for employee benefits consultant services with Benetech. Requires a sponsor in a second. I'll sponsor it. Tom Quackenbush. Any questions that need to be answered regarding this? Rich is here to answer.
Well, the 2-year term with a 90-day.
90-day out. Which is the committee?
Move it.
Move it.
Any objection? So moved. Resolution authorizing chairman of the board to sign renewal agreement with Empire Blue Cross Meta Blue Freedom PPO Medicare Advantage Plan personnel. January 1st, 2014 to December 31st, 2014. Discussion? Requires a sponsor. I'll sponsor it. Brian? Questions?
No, Rich, you got an idea what's the out clause in this one? Was it 30 or is it 90?
There's nothing in here.
I think it's in that big one. Is it in the big contract?
It could be.
It's
All I know
not.
is that I talked to them regarding, if we did hold it up, they said no problem with it. Give us a termination notice, but we're not gonna terminate it. I'm not what the outcome is.
Okay,
I
I think it's
know
in
it's
there.
a 17.7% increase for next year.
Yeah.
And we can check, if we want to change the drug plan, we could, anytime they want, they said.
Okay.
So right now we have 10, 20, 40. We want to change it, not change it. We have the ability next year.
Okay, well, let them
Yeah.
figure it out. Okay, thanks, Chair.
Move it.
Move it.
Any objections? So moved. Resolution authorizing chairman of the board to sign renewal agreement with Delta Dental. Sponsor in a second. Tom Quackenbush sponsor. Anyone second? Mike Chara. January 1st to December 31st, 1-year contract. Questions? Wishes of the committee? Move it. Any objections? So moved. Resolution authorizing chairman of the board to sign agreement, EAP, Employee Assistance Program, St. Mary's Hospital. Requires a sponsor in a second. Brian? Sully, do you want to second it?
Second.
Okay. Questions? This one has a price attached to it, $52.50, one-year contract. Wishes of the committee?
Move it.
Move it. Any objections? So moved. Resolution authorizing chairman of the board to sign renewal agreement with HM Life Insurance Company of New York. This one, we do have the rate, if anyone would like to. Yes, Rich.
On this one, we were advised by Benetech not to use the aggregate rate, just the specific, which is $140,662.
We're saving ourselves some money, right?
Hopefully, we don't need, yes, about 30,000.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Oh, we need a sponsor in a second. Mike Farrer, Tom Quickenbush.
So,
We've always had the aggregate before, right, Rich? And now they're recommending that we drop
so
it.
this one, so you just put it in here in the resolution, just by the specific, or just,
I think you're right. I think we should put it in,
yeah.
we should have an amendment to put that.
To drop the,
Yeah, I'll
Put it in the resolution.
yeah, I'll sponsor the amendment.
further resolved
Yeah,
that we're gonna,
The sponsor and the second one are agreeable to it, you didn't put it
Agreeable.
in the
Totally agreeable.
committee.
we're a committee, we'll just add it to it.
Okay, so what does he want to say?
You're gonna drop the aggregate.
It's 31 grand.
Is that broken out, Rich? All I've got is the combined.
That's personnel. The top portion is specific. There's two portions there. 140,662 is the specific, and 33,384 is the aggregate, for a total of 174,496.
So we're gonna go to 140,662 for
Yeah.
specific.
we're just gonna take the specific.
Specific.
Wishes of the committee?
Move
On the amendment?
On the amendment.
Yeah.
I just said that if
At
the committee, we're the sponsor or the
Okay.
second, we're agreeable to it, you really don't need it.
Not on the resolution as amended, everybody okay with moving it?
Yep, move it.
Any objection? So moved. Resolution authorizing chairman of the board to sign renewal agreement with Safety National for excess workers' compensation. Once again, it's a one-year contract. I need to sponsor in a second. I'll sponsor it. Brian, second. Questions?
Question.
Rich,
I don't have the contract yet. We're still waiting.
think you'll have it by the full board meeting?
I'm not sure. They're missing a couple towns and a couple villages for payroll. So they said if they don't get it by Friday, they're gonna put in like a 3% pay raise for everybody, and then hopefully we'll get it by Tuesday. If not, they're gonna do it in December.
Do you want to move this and then we can pull it
Yeah,
from the
move
full
it.
board meeting if it doesn't show up?
Yeah.
You don't,
I'll have mine in before,
you don't need.
because I'm one of the ones.
To the resolution.
Oh, we're just giving permission to sign.
You
We
just
don't
give
need the
permission to
contract.
sign. You don't, it's nice to have it, but you don't need the contract for the meeting.
All right.
You're
I
giving
don't know what the rates
permission.
are. It doesn't matter, right?
If the board is all right with that, we often do it that way.
And try to have it. If it's
Yeah,
available, we'll have
right.
it. We'll try to have it.
Right.
Wishes of the committee?
Move it.
Move it. Any objection?
I have the list.
Good luck.
That's it.
Anything under other?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Chiara. Do I have a second? Mr. Sweet. All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.
It got lost in all the emails they got.
I have a check cancer here.
Can't Jerry too?
I think so. We'll check tomorrow.
Okay.
Come on.
Information there. I didn't know who Mary Lou Folin was, that's what. Okay, I'll call the Finance Committee to order. Is there a privilege of this, of the chair, is there any discussion item? If not, we have one add-on. I think you all have it in front of you. Okay. I put on the corrective action plan because of, we have a 90-day time period in which for the Board of Supervisors to send to the State Controller's Office the corrective action plan. Now, when the chairman sent the acknowledgement of the examination, the chairman and Sean had put together, and you all have it in your packet, they had put together a response, and they responded to, I think, the 7 items that were in there. They didn't need to do that when they did it, but since they did do that, does the committee want to accept that as the corrective action plan, and we'll send it forward to the State Controller's Office?
Did we ask them to consider that our corrective action plan at the time we submitted the?
I got a call from the controller's office saying they needed a response by tomorrow. I put something together, we ran it by John, and we sent it. Because it was just, we were under a gun to have a response or not have a response to the audit, so.
No, we understand that, Sean. That first response was whether, do you agree or do you disagree? And then the 90-day period was the corrective action plan. But since you put the response together, and it could be deemed a corrective action plan, should this be the corrective action plan that the Board of Supervisors acknowledges and sends it forward? Or do you want...
The only thing I would maybe want to check with the state to see if they want a little more detail, because it was very generic is what I could have got it.
All right. We have one more Finance Committee meeting, right, next month? All right, can we do that? Yeah, Bill?
Chair, when we did it at the time, we had to write a letter asking them to consider that our correction action plan, and they'll either deny it or approve it. But it may not be by December.
Well, I can give them a call and see if, I will check with them and see if they
And
want
if
something
they,
in more detail or if they'll accept it.
if they want more detail, then we've got the next Finance Committee meeting in December,
Right.
which will still be under that 90-day time period. And then the board, we can move it forward to the full board. Full board can pass it, send it on to the State Controller's Office. We all agree to that? Seem like a plan?
Yeah.
All right? Okay. Then the first resolution is a resolution amending 2013 operating budget carryover grant, New York State Office of Homeland Security. Needs a sponsor, Bill and Brian. All right, is there any discussion on this? If not, what's the pleasure of the committee? Move it?
Move it.
There's a typo on the amounts. The 2250 amount should be 19,500 even to make it balance.
Yeah, they don't total, do they?
No.
No.
It should be 19,500, 2250. The amount for the appropriation, .2250 should be 19,500.
Okay, so we'll correct that as a typo? All right, okay. Next resolution is a resolution amending 2013 operating budget insurance deductible for the supervisor needs a sponsor. Brian, Tom, is there any question on this one? All right, what's the pleasure of the committee? Move it?
Yep.
Okay. Next resolution, resolution amending 2013 operating budget community college tuition. Needs a sponsor, Quacky. The second, Michael. Is there any questions? Not? What's the pleasure, move it? Got a resolution approving the abstract of audited claims. Needs a sponsor, Michael. Bill. Pleasure of the committee, move it. And then we have an add-on. The add-on being the resolution amendment 2013 operating budget. Print shop equipment. Needs a sponsor. Well, it's got a sponsor, Greg. Needs a second, Herb. All right, Dan, you want to explain it to everybody just so they know?
This is, this was actually part of the request that I put in for the 2014 budget. I had mentioned that we were looking to buy 2 lifts for around $12,000 that we could bring into the print shop to put so that we could lift the 2 most expensive, heaviest pieces of equipment. They're like mini car lifts. We put the equipment on these lifts. They're hydraulic, electric. We think there's a flood coming. We raise them up to the ceiling and walk away, and hopefully we won't have a problem. And the reason I think it's important is because the past 2 floods we've spent between $30,000 and $50,000 repairing these two pieces of equipment, and a lot of labor and man hours, and so $12,000 doesn't seem that bad if they're going to save all that. We were able to find enough money in this year's budget, which is why I'm asking for these transfers. We had a few maintenance contracts that didn't go through the way we thought they were going to go through this year. Some of our older equipment was not covered, so we had a little extra money there. And we just had a little extra money in supplies, so we were able to pull from 4 different accounts and come up with enough money to do it now. So we won't have to worry about putting it in for next year.
Yeah, Bill?
Dan, do we have any place, like an alternative spot for the print room?
We've talked
Higher
about it. Every time we have a flood, we talk about it. And
DPW have anything over there?
not really, there's really not a good place because of the amount of noise and heat and the amount of space that he needs. We talked about 214, but just getting all the equipment up there would be tough. And I mean, ideally, I would love to be out of that building, but until that happens, I think we need another Band-Aid.
Okay, Bill?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tom?
I've had this conversation with Dan, and I've had it with Dusty from the college. And I said, what an opportunity to have a print shop at the college to service both the college and both counties. He was very receptive to the idea, but the idea just doesn't seem to get off the ground. There's an opportunity that you could have an apprenticeship program, serve not only the college but both counties instead. And I'm not criticizing Dan for what he's trying to do, because it's the only fix you have, but we're really using caveman techniques here to fix a problem. And I mean, how much, 12?
12.5, a little under 12.5.
For both?
Yeah.
I could move all that stuff up there quicker. I mean, I don't even know, and it wasn't explored that deeply with Dusty to where it could be, but how we wouldn't at least have the conversation. And I don't know how you hold off, because then you're into the new year anyway. I mean, I don't know how you hold off I don't know if you can have a conversation that quick, but to me, and you're not only going to use that idea for Fulton County, Montgomery County governmental bodies, but your Chamber of Commerce, anybody that could possibly use could go there and use it, or order or whatever, let them figure out how they want to do it. But to me, you're on high ground up there, and it's consolidation.
Well, there's a long-range plan. You can deal with that January 1. Yeah, Larry?
Question, this is the 12,500 we're talking about, it's kind of like a one-shot deal there,
Yep,
not to be repeated.
that's it.
Is there any kind of maintenance, I mean, these things sit around, they don't get used, we're going to use them once in a while, just to exercise them, or is there any maintenance on these things afterwards, or is there upkeep costs, sounds like any piece of machinery,
That's a good point. We haven't really talked about how we would test it, but from what I got from the vendor, they didn't really talk about any maintenance, so I don't know. I'm not really sure about that.
I was curious, buy something else, pay one time and that's it, but 3 or 4 years down the road, you see, okay, let's say we don't have any flood, we don't even use these things, and all of a sudden we got to spend a couple $1,000 on them for some kind of maintenance. That's what I was My only question, but.
Dan, it's
Only
just a
about
lift,
3
isn't it?
years.
It's just a hydraulic lift, so I don't, it's definitely not like a printer or something where we would have to have regular maintenance on it. But I think if we just used it once in a while, and kept
Use
it,
it as a shop.
kept it oiled.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to bolt it to the floor just so you can use your printer on it, and then you're gonna have to unbolt it to pick it up quick when you wanna raise it above the floodwaters.
No, it's all, the equipment will sit, it'll sit on there all the time, it'll just be lower, and then all we do is raise it up if we think there's gonna be a flood. So there's no reason every Friday we couldn't just raise them up.
Could you just check it with the vendor and
Yeah.
ask about if
Yeah.
if counter maintenance on these things over 30 years or whatever?
Yeah.
Be nice to know.
John, there's no maintenance on the
Tom,
lift.
his opinion.
No, you don't want to do anything to it.
No, I've had one in my garage for 10 years.
If we do move to the college, John, you can buy it and use it as a shop.
I think, just to Tom's point, I think it's a really good idea. We never really had a formal meeting, but I think it's also a little more complex because they do have a print shop in Fulton County. And I think the college also has a print shop. So I think we'd be talking about consolidating everything, which is a great idea. I think it's just a long-term thing.
Okay, are there any other questions of them? If not, what's the pleasure of the committee? Move it. All right, is there anything else to come in front of the committee?
Who sponsored?
Huh?
Who sponsored? Who
Greg
seconded?
and Greg.
Greg,
Oh, okay.
Greg and Herb. All right. Anything else come in front of the committee? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Greg's
Sully?
not here.
Quacky?
Yes?
All in favor? What?
Adjourning.
He started it. Greg is not here.